Morning guys, how you doing? You've caught me nerding out in openingtree.com. I just thought I'd check out whether the Danish Gambit has performed better for me than the Vienna game, and it wasn't, but now it is. So I'm sitting here watching this. I've played 1,000 Danishes and counting. I've played over 2,000 Viennas, and look at this. The Danish is now in the lead. So the reason I'm asking this question is that if I'm going to play the Morra against the Sicilian, I know it just kind of feels a bit more similar to the Danish, but there's a distinct edge here. You know, it's like the Danish has been my most successful. Yeah, opening against e4, e5. So anyway, that's not what I brought you here to talk about. What I brought you here to talk about was this comment that Jose. So we're carrying on with our geekiness into the Smith-Morra. I beg your indulgence just one more time. So Jose, not his real name, said that the most boring line is the semi-accepted. They take the first pawn and then they push d3. Right now, challenge accepted. So what I did was I decided to go away and use the exact method that we saw in my last video, geeking out over the Morra. So I pulled up the games of Marc Esserman, international master, elite tennis player. He's actually better at tennis than he is at chess, bizarrely, and pit him against the rest of the world. Right? How do we do this? Well, the rest of the world, they play their moves from the Lichess players database, 2,000, 2,200, 2,500, because that's where I want to be. So I'm training against stronger moves, not training against weaker ones. And then for White's moves, we go over to Master of Mayhem, okay, in Blitz and Rapide, okay, and that's it, really. And we switch between the two. So we take Black's moves from the Lichess database, we take White's moves from Master Esserman himself. So let me take you through this. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go all the way back to the start, and I'm going to click preview, because you can do this. Now if you come along to this thing, it's set to interactive lesson mode, and we're going to play it through, and the octopus is going to talk me through the game. So what I've done is I've annotated a game, and the final position we get to has only ever been reached 2 times on the entire Lichess database, okay? So the octopus is not giving me any hints of how to get into the Smith-Morra. I ought to know that by now, if not, whatever. So Jose says this is a fun killer, but can we turn it around? Esserman goes right ahead with a capture. Now I have also looked into another line where you go kind of Grand Prix style with f4, knight f3. You never know. That might be good at the intermediate level, but we're going to learn from Esserman. By far the most common response. Now think Maroczy bind with a strong presence on the light squares. Now, we won't go into this, but the Maroczy bind has this kind of, I don't know what you call that, but really powerful kind of flat pyramid structure on the light squares. Sometimes you will see D6 here, but most good players go for the fianchetto setup, so they're going to push G6. Now we play a slow move, strengthening our grip on the light squares on our side of the board. Okay, these squares, right? And control the G4 square to prepare knight f3. So what we want to avoid is something like D6, bishop out here. Okay, so we're going to push H3. So what I'm doing is I'm giving myself the hints there. Now, if I didn't know what to do, you can always click view the solution, right? Black goes ahead and fianchettos, natural development, and prepare to castle, establishing now some dark square control in the center. So we're going to play this. We're going to control these, right? Our pawns are doing a great job. Our bishop is kind of a tall pawn right now, and we accept that fact for now. But again, bishops can sleep. Okay, we now have d6 from black anyway, even though the bishop can't come to g4. So where's it going to go? I don't know. Well, it can't go here and it can't go here, so it hasn't got that many options, has it? We go ahead and castle. and we develop our other knight. So the point of this, again, is not so much to remember the exact moves or the exact move order, but to try and get a feel for the way that a really strong Smith-Morra player plays against this declined line. Okay, continue to develop, now controlling the maximum number of dark squares on the board. Bang. Okay, and I've coloured all those in for you. So this bishop is looking at a whole load of squares now. So generally good idea. It's also on a protected square, whereas it wouldn't be if it was on f4. And on f4, you never know. Maybe, just maybe, we might want to push that f-pawn later on. I don't know. Black, this is the most common move. So we're playing all the most common moves at the 2022-2500 level. Okay. Normal Morra rook move. Now try saying that a few times after a couple of pints. Right? Rook c1. The goofy looking knight to d7 was the engine recommendation here. And now the idea is to drop our light squared bishop all the way back to a safe square. So this is what Esserman does. He does this and he does this. And we can do it either way round. Here I'm recommending just push b3, and now we drop the bishop straight back. Okay? So black now completes development. Well done. Queen c7. Yeah, if he'd put his queen here, especially like if you flip the board, right? Just go back a move. Well, I can't because it's going to play it anyway. But queen here is just too cramped because we've got this super control on the light squares. Black's thinking, well, am I going to push d5 at any point? I don't know. So that's why the queen coming out to a5 makes a lot of sense. Now, flippy the board back over. And we've also got a rook already on the c-file. Typical Morra idea. So queen c7 just doesn't really make so much sense there. Now it's time for all that patient build-up to pay dividends, right? Almost no blood has been spilled since like move 2. Right, eat my horse, we say. They will take. And how do you recapture? CD takes towards the centre, but no. Look at this now. We've got this massive light squared wall. And it's time to really go for the throat. So black has to move his knight because it's now under threat after we recapture there. And the centre is the natural location. However, this is the key thing. We don't want to get into horse trading now. Why not? Well, look. Any time a piece has to evade a pawn or evade attack, it's always just worth checking how many other squares it's got. Now the knight can't go, let's colour them in. Knight can't go there, there, there. Can't go there as his own pawn is there. Can't go there because of our pawn on h3. Remember we put that there. Yeah? Can go there for now, but can't go there because of the bishop, and can't go there because of the pawn, and whatever. So right now, he could take our knight, or he could... No, he can't even go there. So what we do is we centralise our knight, and this is now a critical point. If black plays f5, or maybe f6, he might live to fight another day. But black tends not to do that. Black, the most common move here is b5. And now we just strike out with f4. Right? Oh no, my knight. They take. We obviously take the knight. They recapture. And eat my horse again. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to give up a pawn here. Right? They take, take, take. We take with a rook. And pawn takes back. And white here is plus 5.7. Right, we're actually up now a full piece. Okay, we're up a full bishop. We've basically got a light square bishop and black doesn't. Yeah, but black does have 2 more pawns. So, now interestingly, from this position, this position has only been reached twice on the entire Lichess database. Once by International Master Esserman, who went on to lose the game, but it was a 3-minute blitz game. And it's been reached one other time by 2,000 plus players. So I thought that was interesting. You know, so what we're trying to do, like I say, is we're trying to understand the general idea. And this is a good kind of way to start. And notice how patient it was, you know. It's really interesting how the action didn't really begin until everything had been kind of prepared. So it's all about like the structure first, and then you release the bowstring, then you pull the trigger. Okay, this bishop move, I mean, how many of us would think about a move like that? Also defending this pawn, but this is the thing, bishop, you know, it can play an important role later on. And then everything kind of breaks down. He loses a piece, and we trade off and open up the board and simplify, because we have two bishops, he only has the one, it's also stuck behind this pawn, and all good. So I thought, excuse me, I thought that's an interesting way to learn. You know, there's a line that you don't like, how do the pros do it? How do the best players handle that? And don't try just to remember the moves that they play, try to remember the ideas that are in their head when they're doing it. So, hope that's interesting for a few of you out there. Thanks for watching, see you later.